Well, it's October already, and I bring a new format to the monthly price review. In addition to who's growing, who's disappeared, who's just entered the market, and current prices and power ratings, I introduced two new features. New this month, I'm now including home charging tariffs, as it is by far the most popular way of charging your car. More people home charge than public charge. I look at the utility companies, their tariffs, their offerings and prices. Then I'm launching a fast charger review. Typically these are rated at 3.57 or 11 kilowatts. And this is an absolute minefield, so I give a brief overview here as to what I will include, and the first of those reviews will be in my November pricing review. Well, both of these two new features are included this month as an overview, and both will be featured in a new EV pricing series I'm launching in November, and will always be released on a Monday evening. These will offer a much more detailed look into the offerings and offer direct head-to-head comparisons and recommendations. Please subscribe so you'll be notified when they launch. Well, to open my home charging tariff review, I do point out that the standard variable tariff is now around 30 pence per kilowatt hour, which means if you do absolutely nothing about switching, that will give you a price per mile driven of around 8 to 10 pence. Now, as a comparison, a petrol car achieving 50 mile per gallon will cost around 14 pence a mile. So staying on standard tariff is clearly an option to make life much easier. However, off-peak tariffs are now around 8 pence per kilowatt hour, so we'll save up to 75% of the cost of using standard variable tariff, making a typical EV cost about £4 to fully charge and offers a 200 miles of range. Well, let's start with E.ON. If you're already with them, what do they offer? If you want to switch, well, how easy is it? They have launched their Next Drive tariff for EV owners. This offers a daytime rate of 33.52 pence per kilowatt hour peak and 9.5 pence per kilowatt hour off peak between midnight and 7 a.m. every day. Well, for charging, that equates to a cost per mile of around 3p compared to petrol of 14 pence a mile. Well, you must have a smart meter. If you haven't got one, they will schedule one in for you and they install it free of charge. They have several offers on buying and installing home chargers. Well, there's no fixed period of signing up, and although the prices are held for a year, and no exit fees are applied if you find a better deal elsewhere. Well, next, the company I'm with, although I'm not on this particular new tariff, it's EDF. They now offer 8 pence per kilowatt hour overnight for 5 hours, from midnight 30 right through till 0530, and 34.25 pence at peak times. You again need a smart meter to get full benefit, although they do offer a combined rate of 29 pence overall while you're waiting for your smart meter to be installed, so you're getting some savings. There is a minimum term of 1 year, but you get a fixed price till November 2024, and there is a £75 fee if you decide to quit early. Well, they also offer a deal on home chargers, and they currently have £50 off the price, typically round about £1,000, and they offer both tethered and non-tethered options. That simply means, do they have a cable attached or do you need to provide your own cable? Well, finally, they do give some really handy advice, particularly for businesses, considering EVs, and shows the benefits for both employer and employee. If you work for someone that gives you a company car, this is well worth a look. Well, next we get Scottish Power, who offer their EV Saver tariff, and that gives a price of 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour for 5 hours overnight between midnight and 5 a.m. And that's good for around 100 or more miles of range added. They also quote that using their tariff, you will save £509 a year if you run an Astra GS EV 54 kilowatt hour versus driving the equivalent petrol model, the Astra 1.2L GS petrol. Well, it sort of answers the question, are EVs cheaper than petrol or diesel? Yes. Scottish Power also offers special deals on supply and installation of home chargers, and there appears to be no penalty if you leave early. Well, British Gas is next. They offer a very similar package, but priced at 9.5 pence per kilowatt hour for the 5 hours between midnight and 5 a.m. The price will be fixed for you for a year if you apply before 30th of October, and there are no penalties for switching early. They also have a nice offer of half-price Sundays, which appears to be free. You do need to register, but that runs between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. on a Sunday, once again a 5-hour slot. Well, British Gas work with Hive to offer a home charger and will include 12 months free charging if you order your home charger through them. This is based on 7,000 miles a year. Hive connectivity obviously offers the Hive app that can control many other devices in your home. There are no early exit penalties on the tariff, but there are penalties if you come out of the 12 months free charging. In other words, you lose it. Well, Octopus offers an amazing variety of EV tariffs, so I'm just going to concentrate on the main offering, and that's the Intelligent Octopus Go. This offers a 6-hour overnight slot priced at 7.5 pence against 30.5 pence peak rate. They do also offer home chargers, but also offer a full package which can include your new EV on a lease, a free home charger, and 4,000 free miles of charging, plus other goodies. Again, switching is easy, and they have a wide range of tariffs going into the future, including things like vehicle to load and vehicle to grid for the more adventurous amongst us. As explained, if you want more details and comparisons, please watch my regular Monday evening video series launching in November. We're now moving on to fast chargers. Well, this pricing will be included from my November pricing review onwards, and will cover all the major brands of fast chargers, their locations and prices. It is important to know that I've taken a stance on fast chargers that might differ from your existing charging strategy. You see, the original idea of fast chargers was to provide cheap electricity rates, generally overnight or during longer stays, such as in retail parks and train stations. If your car is parked up for 6 or 8 hours, it's really great to return to find it fully charged. And initially, this is what we got. The supermarkets led the way. They first started offering free charging while you shopped. That made a lot of sense. And then when that finished, they started offering cheap rates, typically round about the 12, 15p up to about 30 pence per kilowatt hour. And this also made an awful lot of sense. That's quite cheap charging, same as home charging or cheaper. But lately, we've seen a huge increase in the price per kilowatt of these fast chargers, with many of them now in the 60 to 80 pence per kilowatt hour range, and some even higher. And at that rate, they are utterly useless and should not be used. If this is what you're doing, you are not getting the best out of your EV. The average UK motorist does just 8,000 miles a year, 150 miles a week, while the average EV today can drive more than 200 miles on a full charge. Therefore, there is absolutely no need to charge every single night. Most people will fully charge just once a week or partially charge twice a week. Rapid and ultra-rapid chargers offered by the likes of Fastned, Gridserve, Tesla and EVPoint are all priced at between 35 and 70 pence per kilowatt hour, and some offer the best rates only with membership, so beware. So why would I even consider driving around each evening looking for a really slow fast charger costing me 79 pence per kilowatt hour, and then having to leave it there all night when I can find a nearby rapid or ultra-rapid charger at half the price and go and have a nice quiet cup of coffee once a week while my car takes around half an hour to top right up? Well, why bother, you ask? That's too much hassle. Well, money. A full 50 kilowatt hour charge of your battery at 80 pence per kilowatt hour will cost you 40 quid. An ultra-rapid charger at 50 pence a kilowatt hour will cost you £25. That's a saving of £15 a week. An ultra-rapid charger at 35p will cost you £17.50, saving £22.50 a week. Well, it's entirely your choice, but that could save you over £1,000 a year. Well, for this reason, this channel will only feature fast chargers that are properly priced, that is, under 60 pence per kilowatt hour, and there are plenty. I will actively name and shame those charging extortionate prices and ask for viewer boycotts. This appears to be being seen as a bit of a golden goose business opportunity, ripping off EV owners who can't charge at home. Well, watch out for my November pricing review for the first of these. Now, on the rapid and ultra-rapid front, there's an awful lot happening. Almost all charging networks are now beginning to appreciate that charging hubs are the future. At a hub, you'll arrive to find a large number, often at least a dozen, but sometimes as many as 50 chargers at your disposal, accompanied by a full range of facilities, including, at a minimum, a lounge with free Wi-Fi, toilets, coffee and snacks. Others have much more extensive offerings. Well, I open with Gridserve. They've recently been properly funded and are on a mammoth expansion programme, installing huge numbers of 350 kilowatt ultra-rapid chargers, and often as many as 12 at existing locations, which may already have a dozen or more from different networks. Rugby Services on the M6 is a classic example, with 12 350 kilowatt CCS2 chargers installed alongside 28 Tesla ultra-rapid chargers. And I am informed that Gridserve are doing the groundwork for even more. Price is a relatively reasonable 69 pence for rapid and ultra-rapid, and just 49 pence for fast AC charging. Again, a relatively reasonable price. Also have noticed that they have a pre-authorization fee of just £1 at all their chargers, with the exception of Rugby Services, where it is £35. Other locations include Swansea M4 Moto Services, Warwick M6 southbound, Hilton Park M6 northbound, T-Bay M6, and Exeter, which now has a whopping 18 350 kilowatt Gridserve chargers and an additional 6 60 kilowatts. Installation there is ongoing regarding getting full power to them all. Just have patience. Well, Gridserve are a firm believer in hubs and have an innovative design down in Cornwall, where the ultra-rapid chargers will ultimately be powered from batteries, topped by an adjacent solar PV farm. We'll keep our eye out on that one. Well, Fastned are also expanding, but at a very much slower pace. They have a very distinctive yellow, black and wood canopy design, which we really hope catches on with other networks. We should be sheltered from sun and rain while we charge. Well, their chargers are generally high-powered, ultra-rapid dual-bay chargers, many of them rated at 300 kilowatts. Prices are the same as Gridserve at 69 pence per kilowatt hour. Although for regular visitors, it is a good idea to see if their membership package is worth considering. For £9.99 a month, the price is reduced by 30% to 49p. So two 50 kilowatt charging sessions a month will save you £20, meaning a net £10 saving after you pay the monthly fee. And that gives an overall price of 59 pence per kilowatt hour. Well, payments by contactless or via the app. And this is a good business model, spoiled only by there being so few of them to date in the UK. Fastned, get a move on, please. Well, EVPoint is gaining ground, and their Rivington location, M61 north and southbound, are great examples. Beautifully laid out chargers with easy access for disabled drivers and modern refreshed facilities with the usual Costa or Starbucks, Greggs, Burger King or McDonald's. And two really great features I found here, both showing real thought and consideration. And the first of those is that between the chargers are small stations, each having a Hoover, a tyre airline and a fragrancer. I've not seen one of those before. Now, it is £1 a go, But while you're charging, you can pump up your tyres, hoover the car and freshen it with a fragrancer. Well, the second feature is 2 additional bays in the lorry refuelling section of the services, which allow a drive-through bay for HGVs and, of course, caravanners. Prices are relatively reasonable, 65p per kilowatt hour, which is displayed very prominently on an illuminated display board clearly visible from the motorway as you approach. Payment is again contactless or the app, and there's a £35 pre-authorization fee. Well, moving up in price, we reach Instavolt, which makes very bold claims about being the biggest, fastest growing, etc. The majority of their chargers are relatively low-powered 50 to 100 kilowatt unit rapid chargers, and the most common installation is just 2 chargers per location. They do have a hub near Banbury, which has 32 chargers. They range from 100 to 160 kilowatts, so you're always likely to find one free. But if you've got a modern car like Hyundai, Kia or Tesla, you're not going to get full speed out of them. Pricing is really simple, but expensive, massively so, as the prices increase from last month's 75p per kilowatt hour to an absolutely monstrous 85p per kilowatt hour. That's a leap of nearly 15% from last month. Well, this now makes it probably the dearest in the UK at present for a mainstream charger network. Oh, come on, Instavolt. Electricity prices are dropping, not increasing. You are definitely heading in the wrong direction. Ionity, quite like Fastned, nice chargers, nice locations, semi-reasonable prices at 74p per kilowatt hour, but so few of them in the UK. They install many 350 kilowatt chargers, which are really great, and install multiple units, often 6 at a time. They're also sponsored by the likes of BMW, so new owners of BMW can get a really hefty discount off this price. I've noticed a large jump in the number of new chargers installed since last month, around 20%, but that only brings them up to 127 chargers in the UK. Once again, membership is offered, and this costs £10.99 a month and drops to 74p right down to 56p, drop of around 25%. Once again, do your sums. If you charge multiple times a month in the same location, this could be a really good deal for you. Now, Osprey's a strange mixture. They're at the high end of pricing at an unchanged 79p per kilowatt hour, anywhere, any charger. They do install the Kempower chargers, which have an incredible reputation for power and reliability, and the chargers themselves offer a huge amount of data for all you tech nerds out there. They install multiple units and have just discovered hubs, opening their first in Buckfast, Devon, with 18 chargers, including, very interestingly, 2 bays specifically for those towing, such as caravans. Well, this is a popular holiday route into the West Country. This hub is also their first venture into owning their own installations. These are not in someone else's pub or supermarket or service station. This one is owned and run by themselves. Well, it's definitely on the high end of pricing, but it's an interesting one to watch. Payment is via contactless or RFD or their own app. The only downside, I've used these, and while I like the chargers, I find the cables to be stiff and heavy, as are Instavolts, requiring the customary spring support or some sort of support, and they're very stiff and awkward to manoeuvre. The plug, likewise, they're big, heavy and chunky. Well, Tesla just goes from strength to strength, the largest ultra-rapid charger operator in the UK and the world, on a massive installation bonanza and launching the first of their brand new V4 250 kilowatt chargers in the UK. Out of the first 9 installations anywhere in the world, 2 of those were in the UK, one at Trentham Gardens near Stoke-on-Trent and one in Cornwall at Summercourt on the A30. Well, I was straight out there and trying these, and they are really beautiful units. They're much taller and slimmer, and they have surprisingly thin, light and flexible cables for a potential 350 kilowatt output, needing no support whatsoever, and they have a nice new lightweight modern design CCS plug on the end. I say 350 kilowatt potential output. These are designated future-proof, so everybody believes they are 350 kilowatt, but just throttled software by software to 250 kilowatt at present. Well, these units for the first time get display screens and contactless terminal and feature almost double-length cables. None of these are any use whatsoever to Tesla drivers, as our charging and payment is all controlled in-car, and all Teslas have their charging point on the rear left, right next to the charger, so longer cable not needed. Not even for the soon-to-be-released Cybertruck. Well, these new features are specifically for non-Tesla owners who currently struggle with cable length, as their charger ports are seemingly randomly distributed around the car, and they do not connect automatically to Tesla for payment. Well, this is a clear sign that all future chargers are aimed very directly at both Tesla and non-Tesla drivers equally. Tesla owners might grumble about losing their exclusive access, but it is a really great move for the UK EV market as a whole. Expect to see more V4s being installed and opened up to non-Tesla drivers. Prices vary slightly from location to location, and all are operated two-tier tariff, peak and off-peak. The average price peak rate is now 45 pence, and off-peak is 36 pence. Oh, these are absolutely stunningly low prices for the biggest, most reliable, most powerful charger network in the world. Come on, you others. Catch up. There is no need for high prices. Keep your prices low. You will attract all the customers you'll ever need to make this a profitable venture. Well, there's not an awful lot happening elsewhere. The oil giant-funded networks like MFG and Applegreen, they plod on with their higher prices, usually in the 79 or 85p range. New installations are appearing all over the place, particularly on motorways for Applegreen, and these will feature more heavily in November's price review. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe and click the like button. It makes such a huge difference to a small channel like mine. Visiting and filming all these locations is currently done entirely at my own expense, so it is limited. If you would like to support my channel financially, then consider becoming a Patreon member. We are currently overhauling, updating and expanding our offers and benefits to those who do already support us on Patreon. Thank you very much for that support and your patience. And we will be launching additional benefits only available on Patreon starting in November. And these will include behind the scene and exclusive videos, all of which have the added bonus of having no adverts. So if you object to adverts, you now have a solution. Thanks for watching.
We want to thank you for watching along as Dave takes it on. And if you like what we do, all we ask of you is to click that like and subscribe to follow along.
I'm Dave.